I will not claim to be any kind of expert on understanding people, but even so, there are certain lessons that you just expect people to have learned, and rules you expect them to follow. For instance, teamwork. In team-based games, such as War Thunder, you help your team to defeat the enemy team. This guy I'm about to show you still needs to learn this most basic of human lessons. Let's start with some backstory. It was an ordinary late Wednesday night playing War Thunder. I'd selected the Germans, because they're the only things that can get into a match right now, given the recent addition of the French. When this guy appeared right next to me, and as I explained later in the match, when I noticed it was him, I had a few problems. Hang on a minute.
Are you alright?
If I'm not mistaken, this is the same guy who was in the Premium Corsair. He's in an HE 100 now, but yep, he's still giving the enemy team secrets. Now for some backstory of the backstory. This guy in the HE 100 was flying a premium Japanese Corsair in a previous match. He began typing in all chat, telling the enemy team that we had a Ju-88 low on the deck because it had had to spawn on the runway. We had a Heinkel 111 going high center, and where exactly he was going at low altitude so the enemy could come and shoot him down. He was being an absolute tool, telling the enemy everything he could, and in this match he'd begun doing it again. This made me rather unhappy when in the next match I found him as my wingman. It had been a long night and I was fed up with his crap, so I decided I was going to give him an ultimatum, of course one he didn't hear. But I decided that if he did anything against us and deciding again to help the enemy team, I was going to shoot him down, and I did not care what the consequences might be. I'm gonna shoot you down. If you say anything about helping the enemy team, Mikhail, I'm gonna shoot you down. Now, before anyone says anything, yes, this is being a detriment to my team in basically the same way that Mikhail was being a detriment to the team. But I ask you, who in my position would have done anything different? This is a guy who has been throwing matches, and you decide that he needs to learn a lesson about teamwork. If you mess with your own team, the team is going to fight back. Also, if you'll notice in chat, he is prepared to do exactly the same thing to one of our teammates as long as the enemy doesn't report him, and they agree not to report him. Instead, they decide me doing exactly what he would have just done is worthy of a report instead. This is just the kind of toxic behavior that makes War Thunder not a very inviting game for many people, and in fact, later in the match, Mikhail decides to ask me why I team-killed him, when he knows exactly why I did it.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor.
He then continues to play dumb later in the match when I type in chat in response to this. He asks, "What exactly did I do? Refresh my memory." He wants to know how I knew he was going to do something. The simple answer, because I'd seen him in previous matches. But apparently he was trying to earn favor with the rest of the team, both our team and the enemy team, in order to get more of them to report me. This ends up being the last thing he types in chat. He leaves, presumably because he was tired of waiting for my responses, or perhaps simply if he recorded the clip himself to make himself look like the good guy by showing that I didn't respond. It did take a long time, in all fairness. I end up simply apologizing for the team kill, but stating that if he wants to help the allied team, he should go play them. In short, I was probably in the wrong for team killing him, but again I ask, how many people would have done the same? Usually I wouldn't make a video on this sort of thing, but this in particular kinda got on my nerves. I apologize for a negative video. There will be some more positive ones in the near future. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.